I am so excited you're
How
here.
amazing.
Hard conversation of being mindful, right? Because doing energy. So to many people, like let's say like they've never heard about Reiki or healing. So let's go a little bit like into an introduction, like what is really Reiki healing now? Like as a hairstylist, like it's becoming a real big thing where people are doing like scalp massages with Reiki healing and maybe even color service or styling with Reiki healing. So I think we should start from the beginning on what really is Reiki and the healing modality that's really coming up in my own.
Energetics of your own physical body, your mind, and your spirit. So this is think about it of a taking a first step into understanding deeper your mind, your body, and your emotions on a different level than what you've known, especially if you don't come from a background of understanding what Reiki is, right? Like I remember nobody ever talked about the energy around me or what energy really was. I only experienced spirituality through the lens of religion. So you want to, one, be open about what Reiki is, and two, take it with a grain of salt with what it means to you. When you come to experience this energy healing modality, you almost take a step back and you're like, wow, like where has this been my entire life? Because you can feel so much peace, so much connection with yourself and balance in just one session. So when you are inspired to then move forward and take a level 2 course, which now means that's when it's important to really think about its principles and the ethics behind it. So if you're somebody, because it could be both ways, if you're somebody who is like in the beauty industry and you want to elevate your client experiences, incorporating Reiki services and practices from a holistic perspective into your client's life will definitely elevate the experience and they will walk away feeling so much more empowered and enlightened. But it's really important as a facilitator to understand the notes and bolts of what it really is. Otherwise, tapping in energetically to the energy of others. So it's important to go through an extensive training and really understand the principles, the ethics of it, how to do it from a place of integrity as a facilitator. So, yes, at a level 1, you can definitely experience it. Anybody has the ability to understand the energetics of their own bodies and channel the Reiki. So, at a level 2 degree, it becomes a little bit more sensitive when you're like, okay, we want to make sure you understand first the energy language, how it integrates with your own and your client's spirituality, right? The foundations and principles behind it of what will make you a great facilitator and how you can learn to navigate and guide your clients through. So all that to say, it's important to really look for somebody who is first certified in the Reiki healing modality, and that's going to be able to guide you through it, because a lot of complicated, or they can't understand really the energy language because it's not something they naturally understand. But in my perspective, I feel like everybody already speaks the energy language. Think about when you walk into a place, you're already feeling the energy of that environment. Think about when you introduce yourself to others and when you speak and have an energy exchange with others. If you're highly sensitive, that may impact you because you're like a sponge and you're absorbing the energy of others, right? So Reiki really teaches you first how to understand your own healing, how to empower yourself as a highly sensitive soul. And for those that feel called to be facilitators and really take this work and create an even bigger impact in the world, they will truly understand the energetics of it and how those principles can help them become strong facilitators for others.
Yeah, and I really love that you're touching on that because so with my Reiki level 1, like first of all, I need to like give you claps over here because you're such an amazing facilitator. Like you prepared me even before what I was getting into, during. It was this like process, which I mean, like it was out like I think it was a half a day. But it felt like honestly, like maybe like 20 minutes. Like it was just like so immersive and it really opened me up. And the reason why I haven't been called to go level 2 yet is because, like you said, like it has opened me to my own healing. I feel like just even doing level 1 was like I took my power back, right? Because with like 2020, and maybe somebody has gone through health issues like I've gone through, and kind of feeling like I've been losing my power or my voice and what to do because of all this stuff coming at me and just, life happens and business happens all at once. With level one, I felt like I was able to call in my power again, and I'm loving it because I'm rediscovering myself. And that's why I really love how you're talking about like going to level two and being part of somebody else's healing. That also takes a lot of responsibility and know how to guide them, because I felt like with you, I felt so well prepared and guided to what could happen after, and to really just take my time into doing it, to the point where now I'm being more even like ethically, that's why I haven't even shared it on my socials really, is because it's something for me. For somebody else, I feel like there's more into it. And I love how you're talking about that. Like it's one thing to do Reiki and go level one for yourself. And it's something totally completely different for when you're doing it for somebody else and their energy. Cause I am a very sensitive person. So for me, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to go level two because I am so sensitive as it is energy wise. So I really love that you're touching on that.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing your own unique journey and how this has opened the doors to deepen your connection with your healing and your spirituality. I think it's important to discuss that healing is not, I think we see that a lot, especially online, right? Like, yes, Reiki promotes harmony and balance, and it is an amazing tool to have in your inbox as far as like helping you manage stress and balance your own energy. But the real aspect of healing is the raw and reality of like dealing with things that you've suppressed for years or that you don't really want to face. So that's why it's important to understand from a facilitator perspective that your clients will come to you exactly when they're needed your support. So if you're in the beauty industry and you feel called to add this modality to your already services, know that the clients that you're working with are exactly where they need to be, and your own experiences and your own life like in real life experiences are what's going to help you move and help support your clients. So a lot of the things that I see often is sometimes Reiki facilitators have a lot of pressure to show up in a way of like, oh, we're perfect and it's all like light and love here, but that's not the case. If anything, we spend a lot more time going through our healing and moving through those deep aspects of ourselves that sometimes we thought we might have faced and are still moving through. And that's okay. That's something that's coming up right now. So I want you to first, anybody that's tuning into this episode, know that it is such an invitation to understand yourself on a spiritual level. And I don't mean through the lens of really even who you want to, and then combining the energetics of the mind, body, and spirit. It's what's going to take your life. And like you said, you're going to go through this journey of like, oh my God, you're having a homecoming to yourself. And that gets uncomfortable, but it's in that discomfort that you start to face and see how much more powerful you are and how much more grounded you can move through these experiences. And that's exactly what you're going to help your clients through. You're going to start to see, oh, wow, I'm moving through these things and I'm helping, my client who came in to get her hair done. Also, she's going through those things. So exactly what you have to share will help others. So know that just as much as you're guiding others through, it's important to also recognize how somebody needs to feel empowered and move through their own spiritual healing, because this work is not a one size fits all. Excuse me. It's definitely, everybody will have their own unique path, and most of the time you're going to walk yourself through that. So it's important to work with a facilitator who empowers you to say, when you're in the trenches, when you're experiencing your life being chaotic, you're just as powerful. You are just as insert what you think you're not, because sometimes we can think we're powerless because we may be battling personal life changes or chronic illnesses. And I want to just remind anybody that's listening that no, the deeper you go yourself, the deeper you'll be able to take your clients through. And that's just what makes this work so beautifully.
I love that. And for any hairstylist or anybody who wants to go into like, okay, so I want to try Reiki, I want to go, but how can I find out if this is a certified person or they've done the work to really help me? Because I always like, how you said in the beginning, when you go into a room and you feel people's energy, right? That's a real thing. So imagine opening up your heart or yourself to release that. Like it takes a lot of responsibility and somebody who's also knows how to handle that type of energy work. So how if I wanted to find somebody like in my area, what are some things or some tips that you can give hairstylists that want to become certified and also clients that want to go into Reiki healing to make sure that they're going to somebody who does know and can guide them properly through this process?
Absolutely. So I would say do your research. It's important to research. Now we have access to like Google and Yelp to see exactly what type of practitioner is going to help you walk you through that training. Now I want to highlight having a great practitioner means the practitioner will give you the training material, the resources, and help you have a deep understanding of Reiki energetics healing because it's going to integrate different for everybody. So let's just say you have a class of 5 students. All my 5 students are not going to integrate the Reiki experience the same way because they're matching their natural energetics and spirituality into it. So things you want to look for in a teacher, in a practitioner is that they have the credentials as a certified Reiki master, which we've gone through, but it's important to also understand like these practitioners will bring their own kind of sauce into the training. And it doesn't mean that it's bad. A lot of the practitioners that I've worked with that come from experiencing other modalities or with other teachers is that they want almost like a specific training that's going to take them through it. It's important to give your students that. I absolutely stand by that 100%, but also to help them understand, hey, you're going to develop your own healing style. So don't think that doing it one way is the way for you. I have students who are amazingly gifted and have integrated those natural gifts into their Reiki practices. Like they are already coming in doing these almost like cleansing practices. And that's something you and I touched based on your training, right? Where you were like, Sam, I already do some of these things in my own, at my house. And that's the beautiful thing of it, where a mentor will help you feel empowered in that way instead of saying, no, it has to be this way. Because what you'll realize and learn is that as you grow as a Reiki practitioner, your intuition will guide you down the path to expanding your own spiritual abilities and your gifts. So this is such a huge expansive path, but going back to resources that you definitely want to look out for is somebody who has the appropriate training, and that will say literally say like certified natural healing arts, Reiki master. Those are the normal terms. I am a certified Reiki master, but I don't call myself that. I feel like mastering life is like you're always on a learning path. So it almost gives in my opinion, it almost gives a sense of like you're a master at things. And some people think I'm going to reach this healing, destination where I no longer experience life, where I no longer get dragged. I always say spirit's going to drag you where you think you're not going to get dragged by life's challenges. But in reality, no, what it's going to teach you is how to navigate more in a more grounded way the challenges that life gives you. So if you research or type in your Google engine, Reiki trainings in my local area, definitely look for somebody who has those certifications. I feel like sometimes years is something to consider, but there are sometimes practices that are outdated. I'm more of a modern mentor where I'm going to empower my Reiki facilitators to always use their intuition and their spiritual gifts. And
Yeah.
sometimes some Reiki trainings don't have that introduction. I feel it's important because you want to be a confident practitioner. You want to know exactly how to walk your students or clients through Reiki energetics. So for me, confidence is important, and they'll be able to feel that internally versus having to come here all the time and asking. So my goal for my students is to help them walk away empowered, understand the energy language in itself, and truly know how and what tools are going to support them through their own training, because you continue to develop after taking an initial training. It doesn't stop then and there. Like you will literally go through those changes and I can see you're like, yeah.
I'm still going through
Um
those changes. Like it doesn't stop. But I love that you're saying that. See, this is the point where, like, okay, so I want to repeat this. You see how she says, like, allow your intuition. She truly allows your intuition to play forth, and it's going to be different for everybody, right? You're going to take this tool and you're going to make it your own. And I really want to emphasize that because as hairstylists, I know we love, like, this is right, this is wrong. You can only do it this way and that way. No, I am in the mentality that we all can do one thing 20 million ways. Okay. So I really want to emphasize that just because we see somebody teaching one modality, that doesn't mean that's the only way to do so. Like, it also does get personalized, just like we style hair differently, we color hair differently, right? To get to the same goal. The same thing goes with this. Like, it's something that you really hone in and make your own. So it may look different. So don't feel like it has to be only one way to be right.
Definitely. The best teachers don't give you all the answers. They help you find them within. And that's something that I love to put my students in the hot seat because I'm like, let's go. You're certified. Let's get you to practice. And having that support from a mentor is so important and will make the huge difference. Like, I like to take my students to practices and really understanding the energetics parts of it because that's what's going to help really enhance their confidence and understand what they're doing. Most of my students are channelers, so naturally they're going to bring their intuition, their gifts into it. And so it's so important to seek a mentor that's going to help you through that process, but it's not necessarily going to give you the exact answers. Yes, you can always come back to a training module or a material, but it's so important to take those pieces and integrate them into your own way. So just like you said, right? Just like hair, you're going to have different colors, you're going to have different seasons. So it's important first and foremost to receive that attunement, which you go through when you take a Reiki course, and just being open to allowing the Reiki energy to move in its own natural way. Like, you're gonna be so guided internally, and that's exactly what we want for you, for you to feel like, oh wow, like I can really understand this now. And that's exactly what's gonna help you move your own clients through that.
Yeah, I really love that. It's so, so important. And just talking about, like, Reiki and healing and intuition, like, what's coming through for you, Sin? Like, just for us as an industry, I know it can be so hard sometimes. Like, we can feel like, what is the next right thing, right? There's so much stuff, like right now, we just with, like, fear based of, like, oh my gosh, we have elections and the economy, people are not spending as much, and like having to feel like that need of always getting certified. Like, that was me years ago. Okay, so I'm not judging. I'm saying from my own experience. Okay, anybody that can, um, resonate with that. So, like for me, like Reiki has really helped me to, like I said, to own my own power and to, like, practice more, like, going to the gym and walking and listening to myself. And like, I took some time off from the podcast. Does that make sense for the podcast? No, but it makes sense for me and it felt good. So how can we do more to start listening to that intuitive self in a world where there's so much noise, right? Especially on social media, as you were talking about. There's so much noise to be this and do this and the next trend, to really start being more intuitive to what feels good to us. Because I know, like, from just talking to a lot of friends, not just in the beauty industry, but in other industries, like, it's the struggle is there.
My gosh, great question. I think whether you're going through professional or personal changes in your life or business changes, right? There's a lot of business changes in the air right now. And so that can create a lot of fear, that can create a lot of questions of like, I don't know what my next step is. Or collectively, we're moving through a lot of healing already. And it's been more than a year. It's been way over that. And sometimes you can fall into these spaces of like, maybe it's me, maybe I'm the only one who's experiencing this change, or maybe I'm feeling depressed, or maybe it creates a lot of anxiety or a lot of worry. So if you're particularly somebody who's in the industry, whether that's beauty, personal development, I think it's important to create a practice that feels natural to you, where you can start your day listening to yourself. And so your intuition is going to come in and guide you in your day to day in your business as to what is your next step, because you're going to evolve. You cannot be in the same place you were 4 years ago. And sometimes that can create a lot of discomfort. Growth is not easy to experience. Your intuition, your higher self, a higher power is always going to come in and push you out of your comfort zone and say, hey, it's time. So when you're experiencing those changes, when you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing next, a practice that you can do to strengthening your intuition is taking those nature walks, really identifying your own personal intuitive voice versus the collective voice, because what that's going to do is we're so constantly we're in an era where there's so much information available to us, right? So let's just say social media. Social media is such a platform where you can open it up and in 10 minutes you will probably go through a number of posts where this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you need to do, this is why you're not where you want to be. And so being constantly consumed by that will actually drive you further away from your own inner guidance, from your own intuitive voice. So I always tell my clients, set boundaries with social media, because it's important, especially when you're in those unknown spaces of like, I don't know what my next step is, or when you're feeling stuck, that you always come back to yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get drowned in that noise and you're going to give your authority away. You're going to say, well, this person knows best and I'm going to go do this. And then maybe that doesn't work out in the way you expected, or it didn't meet your expectations. So I'm going to go try this now. And so what you're doing is it's a form of giving your power away. It's a form of saying, I'm like spazzing in this space and it's so uncomfortable that I'm going to go to the outside world to tell me what I need. And instead, you're being invited to, one, sit in the discomfort. It's uncomfortable. Nobody likes this part of healing, when you're just like, you're undecided, you're stuck, or you're feeling like, I don't know what my next move is in my business. Let's just say, call it for what it is. It's really uncomfortable. So when you're in those spaces, I think the biggest invitation you're receiving is to go within and really start to build that connection with yourself. Because when you are in alignment, when you are doing exactly what you love, no algorithm will have power over that. Nobody can keep you from sharing your message. Nobody can keep you from working and impacting the lives of the people you're meant to serve. So always come back to that. If you are in a season where your business might be slow, or you're not generating the sales that you want, or maybe you're just like in a pivot where you're like, I kind of love this, but then I don't love it anymore. Like, what am I supposed to do? Because it happens, right?
Yes, yeah.
You're in a season of growth, and growth can be uncomfortable. So my recommendation would be turn off the outside noise and come back here. You can always come back to your breath, and like affirm your life. Some of the things that you can say when you wake up is, hey, whoever you believe in, God, universe, or spirit, hey, spirit, show me the opportunities that are available to me right now. How good does it get to be? Right? Because otherwise you'll start to make these shifts in your business, thinking that maybe you're supposed to be doing otherwise, but instead you're being invited to go deeper within yourself. And that is what's going to create that connection. So social media can be a great tool, but it can also take a lot from you. And as a creator, like, you have to be inspired. You have to have that creativity to create, right? And stand out. So I always see, like, as a creator, you can have so much, excuse me, so much to create when you're creating from a space of overflow, and not like, what do I need to post today? If you find yourself saying, what do I need to post today? Like, instead of saying that, say, what's an empowering message that I can share with my clients? Even if you're going through the trenches, like, it's not uncomfortable, and there's going to be ebbs and flows in your business. So how can you create something different where your ideal client is going to be like, ooh, like, there's something about this creator that I love, or there's something about her energy that I just connect with, right? So I think it's important to always excuse me, understand that you are your own authority. And yes, there's amazing mentors and guides and other people that have such amazing qualification and skills to help, guide you. But it's always important to understand that you do know best. And if you're in a season of growth and discomfort, it's not going to last forever. There's amazing things that are going to happen as you move through that.
I think it's so true. Like, you know best. And that was the biggest lesson. Took 8 years to learn. So skip the 8 year lesson that I had to go through. We do know best and we know what's best for us. And
Some holistic practices that you can integrate in your beauty business that will help you elevate your client's experience. So for those that are listening, can take some really good takeaways from this episode, and it will serve them and also how to serve their clients as well.
after we did all our responsible talking, that's really important though. I'm just saying, someone who has like, if somebody was to do this without the proper training on me,
Yeah, I would totally advise against it, because then you don't know what you're doing, and yeah, it's real, it could be harmful, yeah.
yeah, it can be harmful. And I think that's the part where I was coming from. It's like, it's beautiful. I love it. But let's be responsible about it because it can be harmful. It can open up other things that we're talking about that we may be even ready to open up. So it's just so important to always be responsible with that and mindful. But
No.
I would love to know, okay, so how can we incorporate some of this amazing like healing modalities and practices into our own beauty businesses, whether you're a hairstylist, manicurist, any part of the beauty industry, because I'm right now doing bridal. And believe it or
Mhm.
not, I incorporated a lot in my bridal business. I talk to my bride. This is a stressful day, right? So I
Yeah.
would love to hear from you. What are some ways that we can do this in our own business?
Oh my God. First of all, the big work you're doing, my God, like walking somebody through the nerves of their wedding day and being such a part of like bringing and enhancing their beauty on the outside must be so nerve-wracking. Like, I could just picture you like bringing that calming, natural energy that you have. So, if you're in the beauty industry and you're listening to this episode, some beautiful ways that you can bring holistic practices or Reiki energy to elevate your client's experience starts with introducing holistic topics to your clients. Let's just say you have a client in a beauty chair and you're working on their hair. 9 times out of 10, when I'm doing my hair, I know I'm telling my stylist, hey, like, this is going on in my life. Like, this is what's happening. We kind of have that relationship of like opening up, right? Some of the topics that we're moving through in our personal lives. And one thing I like about Reiki is you can actually have like a pre-Reiki consultation with your client and talk about the goals that they have for your session hairstyling day. So you're going to set specific goals on the outside of how they want their hair, how they want to feel, but you can also bring Reiki into this and enhance their overall emotional well-being experience and really elevate the energetics piece of them so they can radiate that confidence on the inside and on the outside, right? Because we want women. I know, like, I'm not a beauty expert. You are, Celeste, but I know when I get a blowout, I'm just like, oh my God, who am I? Like, I'm just a whole nother person.
You're like, this is the new me. Let's go.
Right? You're just already on a whole nother level, like feeling yourself. And I think it's so important to take that and really elevate our energy, because when we feel good, it shows on the outside. So you can take your clients through a mini Reiki consult and just say, hey, what is your goal for this overall experience in the chair? Like, how do you want to feel? And you can start introducing the benefits of Reiki. So this is all goes into it if you are curious to learn more about Reiki training and how to apply this to your already services and that you have their training, right? So you can already prepare your clients to saying, hey, my goal is to serve you on a holistic well-being overall perspective, right? Mind, body, and spirit. So how can we help you walk away feeling so good on your wedding day that all those nerves are going to feel calm and you're going to feel open to love and you're going to feel so good about yourself? And even if you're not getting married, how can you elevate your client's experience by incorporating holistic well-being and just sharing, hey, this is a natural approach to combating stress, to balancing your energy. So having those initial consultations, setting those goals for your client, educating them on the benefits. When you go through a Reiki training, you will be able to articulate in your own words, not the Google version, but in your own words, what Reiki really is and how it enhances your life on a spiritual, mental, and emotional level, right? Because as beauty pros, you guys are already doing the healing work. Like having these conversations with so many people is healing work. Right. And like you shared, Celeste, you are somebody who's sensitive to energy. So it's important to also use practices to reset your own energy in between your clients. That way you have a pure, balanced ambiance to be able to serve your clients. So Reiki also teaches you those practices that you can have for yourself, but also to be able to reset that energy every time for your clients, because you don't want just to be taking all these things that people are sharing with you, and then you have to go back home, and how is that leaving you, right? So you'll also want to check in with your engine, your energetic engine, and saying, damn, like, how did that last client leave me? Do I have to sage a little bit, or was that such a touching conversation that it made me feel so peaceful as well? Like, we're talking about energy exchanges. So talking about ambiance, Reiki can help you really create an ambiance experience for your client that when they walk in, which I'm sure you already do, when they walk in, they're like, wow, like this place feels so peaceful. I can feel like I can really relax and open up, because you're not only transforming clients from the outside in, but you're really helping them through that experience that makes them come back. They're going to tell your friends about you. Right? So think about what can naturally help you stand out in an industry where there's a lot more people doing the same thing you do. This is another way of elevating your work and taking your client experience to the next level, meaning you're servicing them on a mind, body, and soul perspective. So
I
post, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to share really quickly. So, okay, so you see what she's sharing. So maybe you don't want to become, you don't want to do like energy like healing, right? But in my own tuning in, not like, oh, whatever, like I need to get through this another day, like more into like just taking the time to listen to them, right? That's something so simple, like you were talking about, that we can implement in our business. I love how you were talking about, okay, like in between clients, let's cleanse that energy, because I do that after we did all our responsible talking. That's really important though. I'm just saying, someone who has like, if somebody was to do this without the proper training on me, yeah, that would not be
Oh,
good.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
totally advise against it, because then you don't know what you're doing, and yeah, it's real. It could be harmful, yeah.
Yeah, it can be harmful. And I think that's the part where I was coming from. It's like, it's beautiful. I love it. But let's be responsible about it, because it can be harmful. It can open up other things that we're talking about that we may be even ready to open up. So it's just so important to always be responsible with that and mindful.
I
But
know.
I would love to know, okay, so how can we incorporate some of this amazing like healing modalities and practices into our own beauty businesses, whether you're a hairstylist, manicurist, any part of the beauty industry, because I'm right now doing bridal. And believe it
Mhm.
or not, I incorporated a lot in my bridal business. I talk to my bride. This is a stressful day, right? So I
Yeah.
would love to hear from you. What are some ways that we can do this in our own business?
Oh my God. First of all, the big work you're doing, my God, like walking somebody through the nerves of their wedding day and being such a part of like bringing and enhancing their beauty on the outside must be so nerve-wracking. Like I could just picture you like bringing that calming, natural energy that you have. So if you're in the beauty industry and you're listening to this episode, some beautiful ways that you can bring holistic practices or Reiki energy to elevate your client's experience starts with introducing holistic topics to your clients. Let's just say you have a client in a beauty chair and you're working on their hair. 9 times out of 10, when I'm doing my hair, I know I'm telling my stylist, hey, like this is going on in my life. Like this is what's happening. We kind of have that relationship of like opening up, right? Some of the topics that we're moving through in our personal lives. And one thing I like about Reiki is you can actually have like a pre-Reiki consultation with your client and talk about the goals that they have for your session hairstyling day. So you're going to set specific goals on the outside of how they want their hair, how they want to feel, but you can also bring Reiki into this and enhance their overall emotional well-being experience and really elevate the energetics piece of them so they can radiate that confidence on the inside and on the outside, right? Because we want women, I know, like, I'm not a beauty expert. You are, Celeste, but I know when I get a blowout, I'm just like, oh my God, who am I? Like, I'm just a whole nother person.
You're like, this is the new me. Let's go.
Right? You're just already on a whole nother level, like feeling yourself. And I think it's so important to take that and really elevate our energy because when we feel good, it shows on the outside. So you can take your clients through a mini Reiki consult and just say, hey, what is your goal for this overall experience in the chair? Like, how do you want to feel? And you can start introducing the benefits of Reiki. So this is all goes into it if you are curious to learn more about Reiki training and how to apply this to your already services and that you have their training, right? So you can already prepare your clients to saying, hey, my goal is to serve you on a holistic well-being overall perspective, right? Mind, body, and spirit. So how can we help you walk away feeling so good on your wedding day that all those nerves are going to feel calm and you're going to feel open to love and you're going to feel so good about yourself. And even if you're not getting married, how can you elevate your client's experience by incorporating holistic well-being and just sharing, hey, this is a natural approach to combating stress, to balancing your energy. So having those initial consultations, setting those goals for your client, educating them on the benefits. When you go through a Reiki training, you will be able to articulate in your own words, not the Google version, but in your own words, what Reiki really is and how it enhances your life on a spiritual, mental, and emotional level, right? Because as beauty pros, you guys are already doing the healing work. Like having these conversations with so many people is healing work. Right. And like you shared, Celeste, you are somebody who's sensitive to energy. So it's important to also use practices to reset your own energy in between your clients. That way you have a pure, balanced ambiance to be able to serve your clients. So Reiki also teaches you those practices that you can have for yourself, but also to be able to reset that energy every time for your clients because you don't want just to be taking all these things that people are sharing with you and then you have to go back home and how is that leaving you, right? So you'll also want to check in with your engine, your energetic engine and saying, damn, like how did that last client leave me? Do I have to sage a little bit or was that such a touching conversation that it made me feel so peaceful as well? Like we're talking about energy exchanges. So talking about ambiance, Reiki can help you really create an ambiance experience for your client that when they walk in, which I'm sure you already do, when they walk in, they're like, wow, like this place feels so peaceful. I can feel like I can really relax and open up because you're not only transforming clients from the outside in, but you're really helping them through that experience that makes them come back. They're going to tell your friends about you. Right? So think about what can naturally help you stand out in an industry where there's a lot more people doing the same thing you do. This is another way of elevating your work and taking your client experience to the next level, meaning you're servicing them on a mind, body, and soul perspective. So
I
post this.
love
Go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to share really quickly. So, okay, so you see what she's sharing. So maybe you don't want to become, you don't want to do like energy like healing, right? But in my own business, like after I was already doing this, but I'm doing this even more so. How you were talking about consultation, right? Like whether it's a bride or somebody who just had a really hard day, right? Like it's really tuning into them to just like listening, right? To that intuitive voice, like we know when somebody's mad or really sad or really nervous, right? Like tuning in, not like, oh, whatever, you know, like I need to get through this another day, like more into like just taking the time to listen to them, right? That's something so simple like you were talking about that we can implement in our business. I love how you were talking about, okay, like in between clients, let's cleanse that energy because I do that even with my own clients. There's some of them that literally come to me and they're like, okay, Celeste, I'm ready. I need this spray. I need you to, I spent too much this week, right? Like
Wow.
they already know. And I'm like, okay, so let's, you know, let's relax. And I sit down, we have a conversation, and then I do my whole little thing I do with them. Um, and I do this through aromatherapy. So because I'm not, you know, Reiki level 2 certified at this moment, I try to be mindful, right? And I'm being ethical by using aromatherapy, and they love it. So like I love how you're saying that. Like it can be different for everybody else. Because for me, it's a one-on-one experience. You can feel it here. I really like a calming experience because I feel there's so much going on in the world all the time. We need someone to just relax and be ourselves and just like forget that we're a mom or we have a job or we have things to do, you know. So that's just my own experience with my business. But even if your business is different, maybe you love being around like other hairstylists or other, you know, beauty professionals in your space. I think like I really love how you were saying about just like cleansing our energy, being intentional with what we're doing, how we're touching each of our clients. Because I feel like the longer that we do this, sometimes it's really easy to be like, well, it's just another day, it's just another client, but it's not just another day. It is not just another client. In my own experience, I remember when I was pregnant, I saved my money. I was in a different stage in life at that time to go get a blowout. And because I felt, you know, I felt it was my first baby. I felt ugly. I felt so uncomfortable. You know, I'm like, I'm going to get a blowout and feel like a new woman, right? And I go into the salon. She's like an hour and a half late.
Oh no.
And she wasn't talking to me the whole time. I had never gotten a blowout at a salon. So I didn't know the steam was from the product. I thought she was burning my hair. And then they like gave me the stink eye because I didn't leave a tip. Because I remember at the time, I think it was like $80 just for the blowout because I went to a pretty nice salon. And it kept me, because I was not a beauty professional at that time. It kept me from going back to the salon because I thought all my experiences were going to be like that one time. And I'm
Hmm.
just sharing that experience for my beauty pros because that has always reminded me, Celeste, it doesn't matter if it's one service or you're doing 22 services that day for that wedding party, or I'm just doing a haircut that day, or I'm doing other services that day. Each interaction matters because we never know what that person's going through.
100%. I love that you highlighted that, Celeste, and it shows how you service your clients. And you know, as people who are entrepreneurs and have businesses, it's important to facilitate a great client experience because they're going to go tell their friends and their family about you, right? So this ties back to no matter what is going on in the outside world, whether business has changes or online social media algorithms have changed, nothing can really affect you if you deliver such a beautiful client experience that wows your client and keeps them coming back for more. And the energy in your environments matters because back to your experience, if you have a stylist who's stressed and just is behind, and that impacts the way that you're moving through that experience, right? So you decided, wow, like this is not something that I want to come back to. So guess what? That impacts how you're feeling, that impacts your stylist. And so, yeah, that's why it's so important to create the ambiance and have those energetic resets in between your clients because we don't see energy, we feel it. So like you were saying, you love to connect one-on-one intimately with your client, your bride, and really helping her move through what she's feeling, right? Sometimes these conversations open up naturally. So it's important for you to have that grounded space to be able to have those conversations because sometimes there's tears, sometimes there's laughter, and those are ways of releasing energy. And so if you're somebody who doesn't move your energetic space around, it's going to stay in that environment. So having like aromatherapy or candles or incense sticks or something that's going to be not overwhelming to them, but can still serve as a cleanser to move the energy in your space will be helpful to helping your client be wowed and walk away feeling so confident and like they love who they're being in their own skin on the inside and out. So if you are somebody who's interested in this work, definitely walking your client to like those post-session integrations. Like, let's just say you're having a mini Reiki session in your makeup chair and hair experience. Also letting your clients know, hey, this is.
Yeah, and I love that. And even like, you're like, okay, well, maybe I don't like, the energy part, you don't want to do that. Like, this is something how I do it, even in like just like hair color. We're gonna use an example. I used to blonde girls a lot. So I'm like, okay, so this is how your hair is gonna look like in the next couple of weeks. So I always left them to go leave my salon darker because they get blonder. And it's really because I toned them darker. So they love that. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting blonder. When I really know like how blonde I got them. It's just the toner's wearing out. And now they can really see those lighter pieces. They love that, right? But it's part of like you're saying, like that healing modality of like beyond the chair. After they leave you, what can they experience? They feel that energy. They're still excited. Oh yes, I'm blonder. I love this. I want to go back to her. She know, you know what I mean? Like nobody's ever done this. Like they don't have to deal with the brassiness or any of that. But that's just like a beautiful example to what you're saying. Like all this like healing energy and all the modalities that we adopt like in our own lives can help us to grow also in our business. And you have been a beautiful example of that, which I really have to like mention this again. This is not sponsored. I'm being real about this. Sin did such a beautiful job in getting me ready to what could happen after doing my Reiki healing level 1. And I really want to commend her on that because it really prepared me because I had no clue. It's been a process, okay? It's been over a year and I'm still feel like I'm still growing and things are happening. I'm still a human, life happens, right? And just recently I had a couple like health scares and I'm still dealing with some stuff. Before all this, usually I would be having a fit and like crying behind the scenes. Okay, none of you guys see me crying on camera.
We're all crying behind the scenes.
Still crying behind the scenes. Les was really crying behind the scenes. But this time I was like, you know what? Like my body says I need to rest. So I'm resting. And it has been such a beautiful example. And I did want to share this. I don't know why, but I guess I'm going to share it. What I've been slowing down. I've been booking more clients, like inquiries can coming in even for next year. I got this PR box from this amazing hairstylist that I freaking love. And like, I've been looking up to. So Jonathan Vaness, yes, JVN Hair Care. I got a little PR box. I'm so excited. But all these beautiful things are coming in, like seriously, as I'm slowing down. And I just wanted to share that because in a world where Instagram and people are always telling us, do more, do more, do more. Sometimes like listening to ourselves, actually all the time when I decide to listen to myself and slow down, all the abundance can still come even when we're in the season of having to slow down. In my case, it was because of health. It may be different for you or anybody else experiencing different life changes, but don't think just because you're slowing down and you're listening to yourself that you're going to be missing out on opportunities too.
Oh my gosh, Celeste, you're such a beautiful example of like somebody that inspires you to make these decisions because you listen to yourself. And it's not easy to listen to yourself and your intuition. Let's highlight that, right? Because like you said, you're going against the grain, you're going against what you see everyday people doing. And it's like, then your human kicks in and it's going to start telling you, well, you're falling behind and you're not doing all the things. And now da 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 da, right? So first, let me congratulate you for taking the courage to say, no, I'm going to focus on my health. I'm going to focus on what's best for me and embracing rest. Sometimes we can think that because we're resting, we're not moving the needle, but rest is abundance. Rest is being productive. So you will notice when you're on vacation, you'll be booking clients, right? They're just coming, looking for your services. You're not directly having to be on all the time. And I think it's so important to have these conversations because you're not meant to be on all the time. You're human. You have a life. Like, you're not just a business. You're not a machine. So burnout is very real, and health things happen in your life. So if you are experiencing this and you're listening to this, like Celeste is sharing, know that it's okay to pause. It doesn't make or break who you are and the beautiful impact that you're here to make and share with the world. If anything, it re-energizes you and it reignites your passion as to how you want to move forward. And maybe that's not in the same way, but thank you for having that conversation and saying, hey, like, it's important to take care of you. And you've been almost like a walking testimony of like, it's okay to rest, because now you have these amazing opportunities coming in for you because you're taking care of you. You're putting yourself as a priority, and that is reflected back in your external world. So these energetic pieces are showing you back, hey, you're taking care of you. You're in this abundance energy. We're going to come in and support you, right? Because we're never really alone. So I love
Yeah.
that you shared that.
And I love that you say that. Like, okay, I'm gonna say this again. Rest is abundance. Cindy said it, not me. I love that. Okay, because I've never heard that before. Because for me, like, I'm a recovering workaholic. Like, my whole worth, my whole life was based on work. Having to no longer do coloring services, which I spend so much money and effort and skill and time in, something that I truly love. Not being able to do that all the time, I felt so lost. So for me to even say this out loud, like, don't think for a second it's easy for Celeste, because I've had to be like cleaning and doing other stuff to keep myself busy, because I'm like, it feels like sometimes I feel broken. And I want to acknowledge that what you're saying about that. Slowing down is not going to feel natural, especially in a world where it's like, do more, be more, get more, nonstop, be all the things. Sometimes I feel like I'm freaking weird, and I'm like, um, I'm being lazy. Am I being lazy? But I see my body's healing, my hands getting a little better, my labs are coming out better. I'm like, okay, it's working. So we need to slow down. But nobody tells you that. At least nobody told me that. Like, when you slow down, it feels weird.
Yeah,
You could
we're
be
in a world where we're overproducing, and I love personal development. I've grown so much as a business owner, as a spiritual facilitator. I've grown so much, and I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to do this work across the globe. But I know it's important to also do my work and heal. Like you said, we saw our parents growing up and working hard and sacrificing, right? But that doesn't mean we need to follow that. And I think we do, almost in a sense where we burn out, right? But it's so important to understand our body's needs, and your body's not going to come and communicate and tell you, now you need to slow down. It's going to go through like health. It's going to go through an injury. And now it's like, oh, now what? And so you're faced to deal with all the things that you might have put on the sideline, right? Because you were so busy. But I think life has a way of showing you exactly what you need in the moment. And sometimes that's going to feel challenging, but in that challenge is where you're going to do some of the most beautiful growth, and you're always going to be inspiring others. And even if it's in the chair or behind the scenes, somebody's always going to feel the healing that you have to offer. Whether you are a facilitator or not, people have healing conversations, and those are life-changing, right? And you don't think that you have to be like this like healer and show up in a certain way. No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be able to be of service to others, but being of service to yourself is what matters the most. And taking time, especially for those of us that have kids, taking time to be with your kids and be present, and not always in the business or having some tied end goal of achievement. So much of our lives have been based off, oh, the next certification, the next training, I have to do XYZ because that's what will make my parents proud. Well, what about what makes you proud? You don't always have to be overproducing to be able to feel worthy. You can feel worthy just now in your breath, as you're listening to this episode, as you're washing those dishes and knowing it's okay to take a pause. I trust that I will figure it out because you're resourceful as fuck, you're smart. And so anybody that's tuning in, know that if you're in this space, you can absolutely have the resources to move ahead by trusting yourself and waiting for that guidance to come through.
Yeah, I really love that you said that. It's so important that we do it for ourselves, especially as mothers, because you're a mom too, a mom of three. Um, it can, we, even like going after our dreams can feel foreign sometimes, and even stepping back to enjoy our kids can feel foreign as well. So it's like you say, like it's so important that we matter so much too in both ways. Like we're not broken if we want to go after our dreams. I did that for years. People would judge me, tell me I'm a bad mom because I'm ditching my kids when I would travel, educate, all this stuff. Now that I'm home, more, oh, she doesn't really work, she doesn't really do much. So I've learned from both ways that's so important. Like you say, go back to yourself. What feels good, even washing dishes, being at home with my kids, like that feels good to me too. It may not to the world, but it feels true to me.
Absolutely. What will feel true to you will most likely not feel true to the world. And that's something that I'm sharing with my daughters. The gift of Reiki that I've received has not only helped me, but helped bring healing to a global industry. But also the biggest gift is like sharing this with my daughters. My daughters are also highly sensitive little souls. So always, they move through social interactions, and this is where they start developing like who they are and not people pleasing. And so teaching them also like it's okay to feel what's good for you, even if that's not what feels good to the world. And I think it starts there, and it's been such a beautiful experience.
I am so grateful for having you on the podcast today. And I know you have a free guide for my listeners and audience, and I would love to give the space to you by first saying thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us, and let us know about this free gift that we all get.
Well, thank you for having me again. It is always great to just have a conversation with you and be in your energy. So, you do have a free gift in the show notes. So, if you're listening, pull over, pause what you're doing, go to the show notes. And this free digital guide is a mini MP3 on how you can learn to awaken your natural healing ability, start getting to know your own energetics away from the collective energy, away from the energy of others, so you can really feel empowered and learn how to cultivate that inner radiance, that inner balance and harmony from within. It's digestible, so it's not something that's long. You can take like a 25-minute break. And also, if you listened, you can find me at Uncommon Healing on Instagram, on YouTube, or Hello Uncommon Healing in the show notes. Email me, let me know how it served you. And I'm offering just for your audience a free 20-minute consultation call to answer any questions and help you on your healing path.
You are all so spoiled. I have to say that. And take advantage of that. Okay, like seriously, take advantage. Go ask her any questions. She's so amazing and thorough. And thank you so much, my love, for being here today, for sharing your energy with us and so much knowledge. And I know this is going to help so many people. And I can't wait to follow you on YouTube. I did not know you had a YouTube. And I'll put all her links down below.
Celeste, again, it was so exciting to be here with you. Thank you for the work that you do and creating space for these topics.
Thank you.